Time now for our rants and raves, starting with Dan.
I have a rant for the pop singer Ariana Grande. She put out a letter to photographers saying that, these are news photographers, saying that I will own all copyright of pictures you take, and I'm going to put all these conditions on it. You may only use your pictures for one-time use only. The National Press Photographers Association has filed a complaint with her, signed on by 15 other news organizations, including the New York Times and the Associated Press. And one final point, Billboard magazine actually issued a clarification saying our latest information is that this did not come from her management company. This came straight from her.
I do, and she was one whose concert was interrupted by that horrible gunfire.
Yes, it was, absolutely.
You'd think that she, of all people, would understand the value of a news story.
Yeah. That's
right. All right, Adam.
I want to rave really quickly for Isaac Chotiner, who works for The New Yorker, used to work at Slate, and he does this thing where he interviews someone in the news, someone notable, and writes up the interview in a way that is fascinating to read, and frequently, I don't know if any of you remember Oriana Fallaci, who used to do those interviews. You could read the transcript. She was really combative. He's not as combative, but the interviews are outstanding.
Well, you got to say who that was.
And he just is. I'm sorry, say it again. Oriana Fallaci.
No, who that was.
Who that was. Who do we see? I wasn't looking at the TV. I was looking with laser-like focus at all. Donna Brazile.
Yeah.
His most recent interview that I read, that I completely loved, was with Donna Brazile. About her decision to go to Fox News as a contributor. And it was this fascinating back and forth where he was pushing her and she was getting angry, and he kept trying to push her in a respectful but I think very on point way. It just made for great reading. So
I read it too.
Check
Great. Thanks for calling it to my attention. All right, Callie.
I have a rave for a 24-year-old guy whose last name is Bushman, who bought a newspaper in Manitou, which is in Canada. And this is an example of people keep saying millennials are not interested in the news and they've given up. This is back to your point, Dan, about hyper-local interest, that people really like their news in their communities. And this kid worked for this newspaper as one of his first jobs, and he bought it, and now he's doing the work of getting this information out in his small community. When he first bought it, it dropped, the subscriptions dropped a little bit. Now they've stabilized, and he's all in. And I think this is the savior of news, and the community is very appreciative. I love it. And they also went bigger on this story, is that to find out that a lot of the stories about how many newspapers had shut down actually were not true. There were fewer than they thought in the area, so it was good.
Love the name, Watrous Manitou.
Yeah, I know.
I have a rant for the lawyers representing the media outlets in Greater Chicago and also nationally. Why aren't you trying to get that Jussie Smollett case file opened? I want to know why the guy wasn't charged. Why wasn't he charged? I don't understand it. I don't think anybody really understands it. We want to know what's going on in this case, and I'd much rather see that case file unsealed than Bob Kraft's video.
CBS has filed for
They
that.
have filed.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
good. Well, they got to be as robust and vigorous going after this as they did after Bob Kraft's video. To me, this is far more meaningful when what's in that case file.
Yeah, this is a great reaction from both the police and Mayor Rahm Emanuel to this. All right, well, I have a fun rave tonight for the Washington Post, who has started posting on Twitter, I believe, a daily sort of like look at a snapshot in time of how the presidential candidates were doing. So they put up this thing where it said, so in 2008, the Democratic Clinton was leading by 11.5 points. Of course, Barack Obama won. There was a great one from 2016 where Jeb Bush was leading by only a small margin, 0.6%. But what it tells you is that the meaningless nature of these moment-in-time snapshots of the horse race in all these presidential races. I mean, even right now, we're doing it with all the Democrats. What are there, 22 in the race? I don't know. You're keeping track better than I am. But this idea that we're already tearing them and racing them, there isn't a single one here. Well, Romney, I guess.
Giuliani was ahead at this point.
Giuliani was ahead in 2008. Romney actually did end up getting the nomination. But, you know.
No, it's great. Every day, you know, at this point in the race, in this election cycle, it is a good reminder. Because a lot of us, I mean, I'll attribute significance to polls, even though I know I shouldn't.
I love
I
polls.
just can't help myself.
I know, I can't help it.
We all do.
We all do. Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's a staple part of our business. We hate to admit it.